number of people waiting to ask questions. Do you have a point? Okay. Gentleman in the back row.
You mentioned that there's 35,000 rented properties. What percentage of these properties actually have, or you think are bad landlords? So, because you're taking Manor Park as Little Ilford as a sample. How is Little Ilford a fair sample of the rest of the borough? Stratford is a totally different area to Little Ilford and other parts of the borough. East Ham being very different, Forest Gate being very different to Little Ilford. And if it's 4,000 landlords in the whole borough, how many of these landlords do you anticipate are going to be your road landlords? So how many people are we chasing?
I'll answer that saying we thought that was a pretty good example. Stratford's interesting. There were councillors from Stratford here this evening as well. There are bits of Stratford you think this isn't going to be a problem. This really shouldn't take a lot of time or a lot of effort. There are other bits that are difficult.
Do you
Stratford's
have the
quite a big
figures
problem.
available? Do you have the figures?
The figures of Stratford I haven't got with me, no, but I'm happy to say that there are bits of Stratford, the new build and stuff like that, it's clearly not nearly as much of a problem. We need to find ways. That's why we're happy to talk to you about how would we avoid burdening people in those properties. Of course, that's right.
I think your question was a percentage of the land.
We would roughly think that Little Ilford was typical. We think Little Ilford was typical. We got a third of the licence, about 23-25% cash for difficult. Very roughly across the borough, and I'll exclude the newer properties. So I'll exclude the properties often in Royal Docks and Stratford. Very roughly, however, the rest of the properties, I'll go with some figure like that because that's what I get back.
I think you just thought that answer up.
No,
I don't think you're giving me a
why do you think? Well, listen, I've told you we think it's typical. Why do you think I'm here saying private rented sector's a big problem?
Because it's a simple question with a simple answer.
And I'm giving you a simple answer.
A simple answer would be a percentage figure.
Right, I think
it's about 2% of our landlords, 5% of our landlords, 10% of our landlords. 25% of your landlords.
I think 25%.
So you're saying
listen, I'll answer the question if you let me finish the whole thing. Excluding the kind of new build that we've got, which is clearly a different product, about 25% of the properties, about the problems we think we've got. We think that's pretty accurate. We chose Little Ilford, we talked to you about it as well. We chose Little Ilford because we thought it was fairly typical of what we've got.
So you're saying there's roughly about 8,000 properties with road landlords that are not daily rules?
67,000? Yeah. 67,000. Yes. Why do you think we're here? You think we're here because there's nothing happening out there. That's precisely the problem I've got. 6,000 and 7,000.
Okay, this is we're raising the temperature a little bit. It's going along quite nicely.
We just be nice to each other.
It is interesting to note that countrywide, well over 95% of tenancies end to the mutual satisfaction of landlord and tenant. So there is a concentration in Newham of such tenancies that do not end satisfactorily, it would appear. Great. I think it's great.
You're coming to see me.
Andrew, I beg
your pardon. You're going to have a personal conversation with me.
I would like to. I haven't got an appointment yet. Not just me. Our group would like to have a meeting with you to put forward our ideas of how this should be proceeding, which I think is pretty much in line with most people.
So, do you really need a bite at the cherry?
That's all right.
My question is about antisocial behaviour. You've said that 25% of private rented sector properties in Newham have suffered with ASD in the last 2 years. I know Newham very well. I used to work in Newham, and I'm in Newham almost every day, and I find that percentage absolutely astounding. I think as part of this consultation, if it's a true consultation, and that's a deliberate pause there, if it's a true consultation, that those statistics, that we can see for ourselves the veracity of those statistics, because I find that incredibly hard to believe. 1 in 4 of every private rented sector, and I'd like to see as part of that full disclosure and complete transparency, which I would expect from a borough, a public body. I would like to know how you define antisocial behaviour? You know, and is this on repeat properties? Is this how you're getting up to your 25% by counting the same incident more than once? And also, I'd like to say that of your mayor's question time, you were talking at great lengths about mattresses being dumped. But today you're talking about mattresses in front gardens.
No, I don't.
Now, whether if no sensible landlord is going to put a mattress in his front garden unless he plans to collect it and dispose of it. If he wanted to dump it, he wouldn't dump it in his front garden. He'd dump it How do you know? Sorry, I'm almost done. How do you know these dumped mattresses, because I don't believe there's a problem of mattresses in front gardens from landlords, how do you know these are landlords or their tenants dumping their mattresses? They could be council tenants, they could be private, they could be owner-occupied, they could be people travelling through the borough, they could be anyone.
We're having an influx of Redbridge residents dumping their mattresses in Newham. That's a real problem. Ian, do you want to make the first bit of that up and I'll get there?
What, on the antisocial behaviour side? Well, I mean, if you look at the figures in the round, you get, and these are, I mean, we're talking generally at the moment, and I can't give specifics, but we get something like 6,000 to 8,000 noise complaints a year. We get, you know, something like 5,000 to 6,000 rubbish dumped complaints a year, environmental dumping. We personally, in private sector housing, have something like 1,500 housing complaints a year, just on housing disrepair issues. We find far more when we go out. And so when you look at in the round, all those issues around environment, then we've got all the illegal structures and building complaints, which is another one.
But these aren't anti-social.
In the round.
Sorry, how is this? It's not ASB, is it?
In the round, these are as a result of some businesses which aren't big, and it's, you know, some businesses and residents who are obviously, you know, making the lives of misery for the neighbours, but also a lot of this emanates from poor management in the private rented sector. We know that because we have the addresses and connections. So in Little Ilford, in the NIC, we know exactly which house has dumped anything out. We know who lives there, we know who owns it, because that's why we've been working for some time. So we've got all those things.
And we will make everything available to you. Everything is available. Freedom of Information Access, you have to do it anyway, but we did it anyway. So, look, it comes back to whatever you want to say about the extent of the problem. Why the residents keep telling me that crime and social behaviour is the biggest problem in the borough, and that's what they keep telling me. And that's absolutely. And that's done by survey. That's done by surveys. The BMRB do it. Is it Ian does it? The BMRB used to do it. Yeah. And that's done independently, Liz, and they come back year after year with the same comments. It's just as
Let's
I'll
move on.
share that with you as well.
Can I just now go that point, you're going to disclose this information?
Well, of course, it's in
Can
committee
you tell the
reports.
whole audience how the mechanism
It's
by
in
which it
committee
is disclosed?
reports. If you said there's a question, we'll give you the answer. I'm sorry. We'll put it on the website. Thank you, Doug. Put it on the website.
Let's move on.
And if you don't like to see the Ellen, write a question and we'll answer them.
Okay, the gentleman over here has not asked a question yet. You've had one go. Let somebody else have a go now. The gentleman.
I'm a resident of Newham.
Could you speak up, sir?
I'm a resident of Newham, and I welcome you doing something about antisocial behaviour. I mean, there's a woman who's, you know, like really aggressive. She threatened to smash up my car. She constantly drives onto, you know, the grass bit, and the whole garden area is spoilt, and we've had to put, you know, bollards to stop her doing that. So I welcome you thinking about antisocial behaviour.
Can you give us the details? Send me an email and details and whatnot.
I'll be glad to. If you don't mind, since there's
Have
lots
you
of
got a
landlords.
question about the proposed
Since there's
licenses?
lots of landlords here, I'd like to tell you the company name. It's a company called Local Space, which you can recognise, which is London Borough of Newham. I mean, that makes you a real landlord.
Well, we do some magic, but yes, the problem's there.
If you want landlords to follow exactly the same procedures, management, and this, is this what we're going to expect? You know, is this what you want us? Is this what you call us good procedures? Because I'm suffering because of your tenant.
I'm more than happy to take that up and make sure we crack down really hard. The council takes a very dim line on anybody, and where we get anything like that, we come down really, really hard, because we think that's what we should do. One of the reasons we brought the alcohol in, because I'm not satisfied with the quality of the work we do on ESB tenants on our estates. Now, I want much harder and much clearer. Much harder and much clearer. Now, the truth is that we've a lot less than prime rent, but I'm not satisfied with what we're doing, and I will always seek to take it seriously. And the minute we get something, we spend an enormous amount of money and time going in to look and investigate and try and do something. We take it very seriously. I don't expect landlords to be able to solve all problems, but a good manager takes things seriously, tries to work with the kids, tries to solve problems. That's absolutely right, and I think that's what